Welcome back to On the Rise, as there's been a very interesting roster update, with Richie Laryea having to depart and withdraw from the Canamity roster, and in addition, seeing Zorhan Bassong added to the side for the CONCACAF Nations League Finals. And yes, it's extremely exciting for Zorhan Bassong to be added to a major tournament roster for the Canamity, but on the other hand, extremely unfortunate for Richie Laryea, who picked up that injury against Orlando City, and now the question's been answered that injury is too much for Richie Laryea to overcome in such a short period of time. And yes, he was called in by Jesse Marsh to see if he has that sort of fitness level or can recover to be able to play just a little part for this Canadian side in the finals. But clearly, that question's been answered, and he will not be able to represent Canada at the CONCACAF Nations League Finals, as his fitness levels or his injury is just affecting him far too much. And I truly believe Richie Laryea being left off this team and not being able to play a part due to this injury is a major miss. And yes, some fans might not think so as much as I truly believe, but what Richie Laryea brings you off the pitch as was a leader, but as well as on the pitch or coming off the bench is ever so important. Look at that fullback depth chart right now. It is non-existent behind Alistair Johnston and Alphonso Davies. And what Richie Laryea can bring you at right back as well as left back is ever so important if there's an injury, God forbid. But if there is, he's a perfect player to step in because he can play both those roles extremely consistent and very well. But also, Richie Laryea coming in late in the game to play right midfield is extremely exciting because we all know the dribbling ability Richie Laryea has. He makes that defender's second guess if he wants to bomb up the field, and he can beat his man very well. But also with Richie Laryea's quick feet, his pace, his dribbling ability, he earns so many fouls late in the game to slow down the game, to irritate the opponent, and to just stop the flow of another opponent, depending on what the game state is. And he brings you so much off the pitch as well. So losing Richie Laryea is gut wrenching in my opinion, and it's very unfortunate because they're out of this squad. There's so many players who deserve to win a trophy and to win a winners medal for this Canadian side who have been there through the ups and the downs, and Richie Laryea is definitely one of them. So it's so sad to see him not in this roster for the finals, but we have to look at Zorhan Bassong, who has been added. Because I do think, on the other hand, Zorhan Bassong was the best option to call up in Richie Laryea's replacement. And I really hope the boys can win this for Richie Laryea as well, for all of us supporters, and for this side. But Zorhan Bassong is an exciting replacement for Richie Laryea, I truly believe. As a 25-year-old left back playing for Sporting Kansas City this season, he's been very decent in his start to the MLS this year, having 3 starts in 4 matches, tallying 230 minutes for really a poor Sporting KC side. He's had a 6.4 match rating across the 4 games, but in 2 of them he's played very well. Zorhan Bassong is a very consistent performer and really a solid defensive performer in my opinion. What he's done this season, yes, it's a very small sample size, but defensive wise this season so far in the MLS, per 90, he's won 63.2% of his duels, which I think is very good, as well as aerial wise, 1.57. So he's very good whether it's on the ground or in the air in a challenge and getting stuck in, which is very exciting to see. But he does add very important depth at left back. Alphonso Davies, I don't want to manifest an injury here or manifest anything, but Alphonso Davies has had a lot of minutes in his legs. He's had injuries before. And this year with Bayern Munich, he's been very pivotal to them, whether it's in the Bundesliga title charge, whether it's for the Champions League. He's had a lot of minutes. He's been very pivotal. Having a primary left back there to back up Alphonso Davies if he needs a rest late game, if we need more defensive stability, if we need that extra bit of pace with him being a bit gassed, Zorhan Bassong is a perfect replacement. I'm very glad he's been called up. And I can understand the other person who people want to call up, and I can see the argument for it, which was Kyle Hebert. Kyle Hebert and Zorhan Bassong were the 2 options to be called up. Both can play at fullback, as well as both are very versatile in very different ways. But Kyle Hebert is at a flyer of the start in the MLS. Bit different contrast to what Zorhan Bassong has had. Kyle Hebert has done very well so far in the MLS, but truly, One thing I think it's come down to is Kyle Hiebert has the versatility at center back. Zorhan Bassong has the versatility at left back as well as the midfield, because Zorhan Bassong can play as a central midfielder, as a number 8, as well as a deep lying midfielder as a number 6. I think adding that extra versatility in the midfield is huge, but I think being a primary left back is extremely important. On top, Zorhan Bassong has the familiarity. He has the previous experience of being in a Jesse Marsh camp. I can't remember what camp it was, but I'm fairly certain Zorhan Bassong was called up previously to replace somebody else in a camp once before. So having that familiarity, having that experience under Jesse Marsh, and you can see it in some of his other call-ups, it makes a lot of sense. Knowing what Jesse Marsh wants on a training basis, and he's probably deserved it by showing his talent in training as well. But when you look at the likes of Kyle Hiebert, I'm fairly certain he hasn't been called up to a camp under Jesse Marsh. I don't think he is as good as a primary left back compared to Zorhan Bassong, in my opinion. I think Zorhan Bassong gives you different attributes than Kyle Hiebert. I think Zorhan Bassong is 100 probably percent, my personal opinion, the best call up possible to replace Richie Laryea. Versatility, familiarity, previous experience, but also whether it's Kyle Hiebert, whether it's Zorhan Bassong, they're both there for cover. It's not a major thing for both of them to get called up. They're both there for cover. The one thing which I think is very gutting is Richie Laryea was the one who had to be replaced. It's a big injury, not a major injury to Richie Laryea, but it's a big injury to see a player of Richie Laryea's quality have to leave the squad, because I really do think he would have played a big role in this team. And I think it's a big miss. Guys, Zorhan Bassong, the 25-year-old Canadian left back for Sporting KC, will be replacing the Toronto FC right back in Richie Laryea for the Canada roster at the CONCACAF Nations League Finals. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. Should have been Hiebert. Should have been Bassong. What are your thoughts on Richie Laryea being left out? Will it be as important to you as I think it was to me? As well, smash that like button, and also smash that sub button, guys. The support has been absolutely incredible, and I really appreciate it. Let's continue to move to 600 subscribers, and I'll see you guys for the next one.